Google has ruled the internet for over 2 decades. It's where we search, explore, compare, and learn. For many, it's the homepage of their digital life. But something is shifting, and fast. And no, it's not Apple, Bing, or even TikTok. The company challenging Google's dominance isn't loud, flashy, or dependent on ads. It's OpenAI. In this video, we're diving deep into how OpenAI is quietly reshaping the future of search, information, and online power. If you find value in deep, tech-driven stories like this, consider subscribing. It helps us bring you more insights, and you won't miss what's coming next. Let's rewind. Google rose to power by solving a simple problem: the chaos of the internet. Back in the early 2000s, search engines were messy, unreliable, and filled with irrelevant results. Google's PageRank changed that. It didn't just index websites, it ranked them by importance, popularity, and relevance. People noticed. The experience felt smarter. And when something feels smart, we start to trust it. And when we trust something, we use it over and over again. Google's model was elegant: offer great search and monetize the attention through ads. Every time you typed in a search, there was an opportunity to show a relevant ad. Multiply that by billions of searches a day, and you get $1 trillion business. By 2023, Alphabet, the parent company of Google, earned over $160 billion just from search ads. That's over 80% of its total revenue. Imagine that. One product, one interface driving almost the entire empire. But there's a problem. That interface, the little white box, hasn't changed in 20 years. You type, you get links, you click, you scroll, repeat. For a company built on innovation, Google search started feeling stagnant. Enter OpenAI. When ChatGPT launched in late 2022, it didn't look like a threat. No homepage, no browser, just a chat box. But people tried it, and what they found was different. You didn't search. You asked. You didn't scroll. You read. You didn't choose. You received. In just 2 months, over 100 million users had tried ChatGPT. And suddenly something shifted. Students used it to write essays. Developers used it to debug code. Marketers used it for copywriting. Entrepreneurs used it for strategy. Regular people used it for everything, from meal planning to legal advice. Professionals in healthcare started using GPT-based tools for medical documentation, saving hours of paperwork. Lawyers began experimenting with AI to generate contract drafts. Customer service teams started relying on AI-powered chatbots for faster resolution times and better customer satisfaction. Educators adopted OpenAI tools to create adaptive learning materials. In India, a rural education pilot project equipped teachers with GPT-based assistants to explain complex subjects in local dialects. In Europe, a university integrated GPT into its research process to assist students in literature reviews and summarization tasks. In media and journalism, editors are using GPT tools to generate outlines, headlines, and summaries. Newsrooms are integrating AI to automate research-heavy tasks, letting journalists focus on storytelling. In the financial sector, analysts are leveraging GPT to interpret earnings calls, draft internal memos, and even detect anomalies in data trends. Hedge funds and asset managers have begun building GPT-based dashboards to surface insights from vast amounts of market data. In product design and development, teams are prototyping ideas faster using AI to simulate feedback, generate use case scenarios, and document workflows. Even in game development, studios are using GPT to generate dialogue, quests, and branching narratives at scale. And somewhere along the way, something subtle happened. They stopped Googling. This wasn't lost on Microsoft. In early 2023, they invested $10 billion into OpenAI and didn't stop there. They integrated GPT into Bing. They added it to Edge. They wove it into Office tools like Word and Excel. In other words, they made AI a layer across the entire user experience. Google, on the other hand, scrambled. They launched Bard, then rebranded it as Gemini, held press conferences, rushed demos. But something was missing: the confidence, the clarity, the product. For the first time, Google looked reactive, not visionary. And here's the thing: search behavior is changing, especially among Gen Z and younger millennials. They're asking ChatGPT instead of Googling. They're using TikTok as a search engine. They're trying out U.com and Perplexity AI. Not because it's trendy, but because it feels better, more conversational, more intuitive, less effort. Let's pause here and ask, Do you think future generations will even need Google the way we did? Or will they grow up expecting answers, not links? Let me know in the comments. I'm genuinely curious where you see this going. But back to Google. If fewer people use it, fewer people see ads. If fewer people see ads, ad revenue drops. And remember, Google isn't just supported by ads. It is ads. Even a 5% drop in search activity could cost billions in lost revenue. Now imagine this shift accelerating. Across demographics, across industries, across habits. Google is built on mass behavior. OpenAI is built on personalized response. And that makes all the difference. Let's look deeper. Google gives you links. OpenAI gives you context. Google sells your attention. OpenAI sells you answers. The first makes you hunt. The second helps you think. And here's the kicker. OpenAI doesn't depend on advertising. Its model is cleaner. API usage, subscriptions, enterprise tools. No keyword bidding, no SEO games, no top 10 ways headlines. That means one thing, it doesn't have to manipulate you. That's powerful. Let's talk about infrastructure. More and more apps are building on OpenAI's technology. Startups, education platforms, healthcare systems, banks, customer support tools. They're not just using GPT, they're integrating it into workflows, into backends, into the very way people get things done. In South Korea, banks are using GPT to personalize customer interactions and detect fraud patterns. In the US, hospitals are experimenting with GPT-based tools to assist in medical coding and billing automation. In law enforcement, GPT is being explored as a tool to analyze large volumes of public complaints or case data to identify patterns and bottlenecks. Governments are beginning to pilot GPT-based solutions to assist with permit processing, grant applications, and multilingual citizen service. GPT is becoming the new interface between humans and knowledge. That used to be Google. Let that sink in. It's no longer about indexing the web, it's about understanding intent. It's about personalization, synthesis, reasoning. It's about giving you what you need, not what the top-ranking website wants to sell. And OpenAI is not alone. The AI search space is heating up. Companies like Perplexity, Arc Search, and Brave are exploring new search experiences. Even Amazon is embedding generative AI into product searches. Everyone's asking the same question. How do we make finding information more human? And that question is dangerous for Google. Because while they're protecting ad dollars, others are reinventing the experience. Now let's be fair, Google is still huge. It owns YouTube, Gmail, Maps, Android. It has DeepMind. It has talent. It has infrastructure. It's not going away tomorrow. But disruption rarely looks like a knockout punch. It looks like habit. One day you open ChatGPT instead of Google. One day you search inside a document instead of online. One day your phone assistant answers better than a website. It builds slowly, then all at once. Do you remember when you stopped using Yahoo? Probably not. It just faded. That's what makes this so interesting. Because Google built its empire on giving people what they want. Fast, relevant, easy. But now, someone else is doing it better. And they're not bragging. They're not advertising. They're not making noise. They're just useful. By the way, if you've made it this far, you're exactly the kind of person we love having in this community. Tap the like button if this got you thinking. Subscribe if you want more stories that dive deep into AI, business, and the future of the internet. And before we wrap, here's one more thing to think about. Do you trust answers more when they come from a search engine or from an AI that knows your context? Drop your thoughts below. The comment section is yours. To sum it up, Google's search empire is still alive, but its grip is loosening. OpenAI didn't challenge it with search results. It challenged it with answers. And in a world drowning in content, answers are what people truly need. The internet is changing. From searching to asking. From clicks to conversation. From noise to signal. And OpenAI might just be writing the next chapter.